Okay, so in this video we don't got a lot of time, but we're gonna go over what happened when I was all dizzy and I passed out in bed feeling like I was gonna vomit, and then something happened with you. So at 1 a.m. I heard a crash and you fell. I had to get you to the hospital. Now, when you went to the emergency room after this fall, what did you report was the cause of this fall?
I got dizzy and I fell.
Okay. Now, when I closed the windows before, because that day it was raining real hard, pouring rain, and at about 9:30 I closed the window, and I is me, Zachary Newell. I closed the windows, went to bed, put on the TV for some fairy tale stuff, and closed my eyes. At about 1 a.m. I hear a crash. I wake up dizzy myself. I feel not on my feet. I have trouble dialing 911 for you, but I get a hold of them. And I told the emergency responders that this is not the first time that this has happened with you. Every single time we close the windows. Every winter, when the windows are closed for at least 4 months or so, we fall. We get dizzy. I vomit every morning. I get severe headaches. Do you get headaches when we close the windows, David?
Yeah.
So you get better when the windows are open.
Yeah, a little.
Okay, a little bit. And when the windows are closed, you have falls?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound normal to me. So if the windows go down,
Yeah.
you get more dizzy?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Now, have you seen anything in this apartment that might cause this dizziness? Like, did you ever take pictures of something? Or
Yeah, mold.
oh, there's mold?
Yes.
What type? There's mold in your apartment. Have you reported this?
Yes.
Oh, who did you report it to?
I reported it to the,
Department of Health?
yeah,
Who works for the Department of Health that you've been talking to?
Christine.
Oh, there's a lady named Christine. Okay. And I think her last name starts with a G, like Garber or something like that. That's it. Okay.
That's good.
And did she do anything about these hazards making you fall?
Not to my knowledge.
Nobody's come in and taken care of it? They haven't moved you to a different apartment?
No.
Okay. Is there anybody else getting sick in the house?
Oh yeah.
There's other people falling down and getting sick?
Yeah.
That's right, I am, and my name is Zachary Newell, and I've been reporting it to the Department of Health of Rochester, New Hampshire. Rochester, New Hampshire, Rochester Hill Road is where we live in Rochester. Okay. The Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Health, Beth and Christine have both been notified for over 3 years that we may die, or we are falling, or we're getting injured. Now, during that night, does it look like Christine is going to help you, or how about the code enforcement? Did you ever report this mold to code enforcement?
Yep.
Just now or years ago?
No, before. A long time ago.
Oh, so you've been reporting this over and over?
Yeah, we went together.
Ah, but just recently, after you were evicted and you got an eviction notice, they just started taking complaints then, or did they take complaints before? Like, was anything done about this mold?
No.
Oh, so nobody ever investigated the landlord or had somebody come in to look at it, or they just seem interested in looking at your roommate for abuse or things like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so every time you report this mold, they just do something else, basically.
Yeah, the changes, you know.
So do you get tired going in circles with these people?
Of course.
Would have it helped for somebody like Christine or somebody to talk to you and help you do these things, like get rid of bed bugs or get rid of this mold or not have water damaging your property? Would have it been helpful if a worker sat you down and showed you how to do these things?
Yeah.
Would you like these things to go to court years ago?
Oh yeah.
So all you needed was a worker to help you, show you how to report these bed bugs to court?
Yeah.
So you would have brought this to court if you had a worker?
Yeah. Of course I would.
So the main reason why the courts have never heard of these things, even though you have pictures and videos, is we haven't received any worker or help for you about any of these falls or injuries.
Right.
They just blame your roommate continuously?
Yeah.
I got a paper recently, I'm willing to show on the record. Oh, I know, I'm just going to tell them about it. That says that I'm under investigation for emotional abuse. Meanwhile, David is being emotionally abused by people outside on camera getting caught on camera. For every one time a neighbor records somebody putting their hands on David, calling him names, chasing him around, showing up at my work, trying to talk to my managers, chasing my customers around, trying to run me off the road, even when they're caught on my Ring camera, throwing me to the ground, kicking me in my injured parts, punching me in my injured parts. Has Rochester really done anything about this, or are they just trying to throw us out as quickly as possible? What would you say, David?
They're trying to get rid of us.
So it doesn't seem like you're getting any rights, any lawyers, any workers, any services.
Right.
So who can you call for services right now, would you say?
I'm trying to get to go see Holly.
You're confused because of all the circles they brought you in, David?
Oh, yeah.
So if you called Department of Health, you don't think it would help?
I don't think so.
If you tried code enforcement, do you think the landlord would come after you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so that's a fear of yours. If you go to code enforcement again and again, he'll do what? What he did to your friend?
Yeah.
What did he do to your friend?
He grabbed a hold of him and beat the shit out of him.
Why? Because he reported something, or
Yeah.
tried to pay him rent, or was
Tried
it?
to pay rent and everything, and he got upset.
Did your friend hit him? Did he?
No.
Was he trying
no,
to ask for it or something?
No.
Was he like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, guy? I'm gonna hit? Or was it the landlord who was the aggressor?
The landlord was.
So we were just trying to pay our rent, and that happened.
Yeah, because he refused to take the certified letter.
How about the money? Did he refuse to take the money too?
Yeah, he just turned around and started walking out, and then you said something. I forget what you said, but anyway.
Here is
he
a
got me.
letter by David.
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. Something like that, yeah.
And what was in my left hand? Was it a bunch of money?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was definitely money trying to be paid to him.
Yeah.
And he just refused to take the money, refused to look at the letter of damages that says David Ganji would like to let you know that he's getting sick, but also there's water coming in the apartment, leaky pipes, things like that.
Yeah.
He just refused to take the money, the letter, everything.
Right.
And your friend was just trying to hand it to him.
Right.
And this is on camera, Ring camera?
Yeah.
What did the judge do about this footage? Did he ever look at it?
I don't think so.
No, he
No.
refused it. Why?
I don't
You
know.
don't remember? I'll tell the camera. The reason why the judge refused to look at the video of me trying to pay my rent and then getting kicked in the kidneys, as he said that's from an assault charge that has to be dealt with in October 28th. So because I was kicked in the kidneys on the ground, I am not allowed to present video of me trying to pay my rent. Even though the landlord is clearly lying to the judge and in court, and he's done this several times before, Rochester has decided to speed through this eviction and try to put our lives in danger by throwing us out to the curb as soon as possible, as soon as we get any complaints in. And we were told for 3 years straight by the landlord and by the Department of Health that if we don't move and if we make a complaint, that bad stuff would happen to us. The landlord said he would punch us and evict us. And the Department of Health, Christine, made it very clear that David was going to lose and she was going to make sure of it. She even gave David really confusing information like, you don't need to get a lawyer and you don't need to get a lease. This is the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard from a worker talking to a senile 84-year-old that struggles to understand what's going on to begin with. This is the same type of stuff they used to confuse David when the bed bugs came. I was telling David he needs to get rid of his chairs and his couch. We already got rid of the mattresses. But the landlord says, no, keep the couch, keep the couch. Now, the landlord left. I got rid of the couch. I told David, no keeping the couch, no keeping the furniture. At this point, there's nothing left. Everything's been thrown away, and we've shut down the bed bug infestation in the rooms, and we've rebought everything. The landlord's now doing an eviction in court and claiming that we brought in the bed bugs and we kept furniture. So it's very clear that the landlord was trying to confuse David to keep furniture that he knew David shouldn't keep.
Yeah.
Not only that, when we moved in, there was no doorknob for the building. Anybody could just walk into our apartment. He rented us an apartment with no doorknob. I had to bill him off the rent for this doorknob. There was a hole in the door when we moved in to the left, our little storage door. I've been asking for 6 years for a new door. I haven't got it. I've been asking for a new sink that was leaking for 4 years, just got it last year. So it takes him 3 years to put in one sink. I've been asking him to not have those rusty pipes leak above our heads in the bathroom so ceiling tiles don't fall on our heads and get all black mold everywhere, which he put a new ceiling tile in instead of pipes. For the 8th time, once again, that's a brand new. As you can see, this one fell on our heads. This one fell on our heads too. As you can see, that's the old one, brown, new one white. White, brown, white, brown. Now look over here. Brown, this is the one that fell, right? Brand new white tile, not even a month or two old. I'm going to scan it and you tell me if you see something new that just appeared. Oh, boom. Oh, what's that? What's that? He says that this is the tenant's fault that these pipes are leaking, and he's going to charge us. This is the other one that fell on our head. And look at this, there's another spot starting. That's from leaky pipes. Mold is all in there. If you look up here, you can tell, even though the window is closed completely, there's a hole that leaks water, and there's all different types of white clam mold growing near the hole where the rot has rotted out. And that's our best rotted window. I can even get that to stick sometimes if I go up. As you can see, the frame won't even hold in. But even if you close that completely, it just runs down the wall. You can close every part of these windows, it continues the run. As you can see, the leaks continue even with new tiles. They don't care about those tiles. If you think that's bad, you should see the other windows. I'm injured, my roommate's injured, and we cannot return to our bedrooms for 3 years. Now everybody else who gets bed bugs like this pays the landlord $300 and still throws away all their furniture, spends thousands of dollars refurnishing, and the bed bugs come right back. Usually they bring it to the courts. But David is having problems. The landlord is confusing David. The landlord says he doesn't think there's bed bugs in there. David gets confused. Also, we got the incidents like this. I was changing my clothes naked, putting some cream on. I asked David for some privacy. He went down the smoke. The maintenance is telling him to let him in. David forgets he's supposed to be giving me privacy because these people are demanding that he let him in. These are people who have threatened him in the past. These are people who have been caught on camera in 2019 going up to him and causing trouble. These people are coming into the home at times, like the landlord beating on us. They're doing all this weird harassment and intimidation stuff to keep us from reporting stuff in court. I cannot be easily intimidated. The more these people hurt me, the more I try to ask for help. And the more that Rochester has really screwed me over. Now I have a hernia. The landlord has kicked my GI region in my kidneys. Probably the cause of this hernia. It could be from twisting. It could be from anything on that ground. I am trying to seek medical professional help. I checked in for that assault, and they released me only after a couple scans and a couple tests. I am so worked up about this, and I'm not able to receive any medical care. When I call my insurance and I tell the doctors to keep me overnight for observation, they say that they might release me at 1 in the morning, so I have to walk home in the cold, having seizures being brought back by ambulances. It's a way to bill my insurance 3 times in the same night. They release me at like 11. I get fall because they know I can't get home at 11, and I asked them to just keep me overnight. Keep me for testing overnight. Keep me for testing overnight. The insurance refuses. Rochester doesn't work with me when I get out. They release me right away from the hospital. I seek help from the Department of Health. David, I try to get him services. They say David has to ask. David doesn't know how to ask. They deny him any help because of his disabilities. I tell them I can't write because my seizures are getting bad. Then they deny me any help because I can't write. David's having help, but he can't read or write at all, so they deny him services because he didn't read his email, he didn't read the paperwork, he lost his paperwork. The lawyer says they can't help because David lost his paperwork, so I tell David to go into court and get replacements, but then David gets confused, doesn't know what he's asking for, so then they just play a trick on him and he loses everything. This doesn't have to be this way. All we have to do is be moved to a healthy area that's not making us sick, and then we can fight this battle. But as long as we're being poisoned continuously, as long as people come to our house to kick us in our kidneys, as long as we go outside and people try to run us off the road with our cars, as long as I'm having seizures and our bills are ridiculously high and we have to live in a studio and pay for a 2-bedroom, I don't see any way we're going to survive what Rochester has done to us by us just trying to rent an apartment. This is David's apartment that was got by Mark Harrington, Robert DeBerto. Robert DeBerto owns this apartment. Mark Harrington set it up for David Ganji. I got a call that things were going really bad, and I came up to help. Now they've really hurt me because I came up here to help. Rochester just wanted this man to get killed off or put homeless already. 6 years ago, they were going to make this guy homeless. 3 years ago, they were going to make this guy homeless. 2 years ago, they were going to make this guy homeless. 1 year ago. And each year, I call and ask for services, ask for help while I'm working injured, bleeding internally into my testicles. I got pictures. If anybody tries to say I'm lying, nope, I went to the emergency room, I went to the primary care, I went to the GI specialist, and I took pictures. And still today, the injury persists 2 inches from the left of my belly button. It hasn't gone away, it's just got worse. Plus, I have a hernia now, I can tell for sure. It's not the first time I've had to bring somebody to the hospital for a hernia, so I know that for sure. I've got people diagnosed with hernias who got surgery right after I brought them. Nobody else noticed for 6 months to a year until I came by and said, man, you got a hernia, you gotta go, you gotta go. And they didn't even show it to me, they just walked by with a towel on in the shower, and I said, oh my God, that's a hernia, you need to go to I'm bringing you right now to the emergency room. So when I say I have a hernia, I know now, I have a hernia. On top of that, I'm having kidney issues that are causing me to urinate dark colors. That's not normal. I also got a sample of that on video, and I have the 2 samples in a container. But over time, it gets lighter. It turns to a light brown after like a month of sitting there. But I have a video of it coming out of the tap fresh. So yes, I have some kidney problems, GI, that are all new, as well as I'm falling when I close the windows. I'm having breathing problems when I close the windows. And it has nothing to do with smoke whatsoever. I can walk into a smoky apartment with closed windows like Eric's down the street, and I have no problem. He can chain smoke with 3 other people, and I do fine. But I come back into this apartment with no smoke, and I'm suffocating. Everybody gets headaches and suffocates in this apartment from the mold. And every single person that ever moves in here eventually will move out and a couple years later figure out what's going on. If nobody warns them, I guarantee you that people will continue getting sick, wondering what the hell did it. Unless they look up at the ceiling, look up at the windows, look under the cabinets, go to a doctor, show them pictures, show those pictures to experts just like we did. Then you know for sure that this place is toxic and will kill you if you live here. Now the landlord knows this. That's why he's played tricks. Rochester knows how deadly this is. Rochester has known that complaints about